What's up, ladies and gentlemen? So, Universal Mastery is my channel. My name's Jeremiah Schwartz. What I do is I break down the occult sciences and I break them down to a very practical level so you can use them and apply them in your day-to-day life and understand what's going on when it comes to this invisible science, okay? What I am is I am a professional occultist. I'm fully initiated in Kabbalah. I've traveled through the Sephiroth, I've traveled through the Clipathic. I have a very strong understanding of how initiation works and how you can use spirits to help yourself evolve. I'm studied in astrology and I'm studied in tarot as well. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of clarity on who I am. But other than that, let's jump into what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. So in today's video, I kind of just want to do like it's not going to be an open discussion because no one's really responding back. It's just me on the camera, but it's going to be an open, it's going to be my open thoughts on Kabbalah. I'm going to pretty much just go into what I know about Kabbalah and why and you could say how I see it and why I think it's so important and what I know about it, like extra knowledge about Kabbalah. So this video is definitely going to offer value to anyone who's familiar with Kabbalah or is studying Kabbalah or wants to know more about Kabbalah. As I said, I'm fully initiated in the Kabbalah tree, so I understand a lot about it. So with that being said, if you want to know a little bit more about Kabbalah, stay tuned for the rest of the video. Okay, so the first thing I want to go into is what exactly is Kabbalah? Like where did it actually come from? So it's mainly Kabbalah was a system that was created by the Jews where they took a bunch of other ancient cultures' information, a bunch of other ancient cultures' belief systems, ideas on evolution and on, you could say, the occult or spirituality, the hidden arts of spiritual evolution and power. So the Jews took information from all of these different systems and they put it together in one. And they pretty much what they did is they turned it into a science and they turned it into like a literal step-by-step structure of evolution. Now, I don't believe that the Jews were the first ones to do this. I think that they are the most commonly known system when it comes to Kabbalah that teaches this system of evolution. But I really think it goes way, I know it goes way farther back than just the Jewish Kabbalah, if you understand what I'm saying. So they took a lot of all the Kabbalah, all the principles within the system of initiation within Kabbalah, the tree of life, that comes from all different types of ancient cultures. It's all their different teachings and it's brought into one form, which is known as the Kabbalah tree, which has the top side of the tree and the bottom side of the tree. And it's like literally a whole invisible yet very tangible system that you can work with and can initiate through. And as you work with it and you initiate through it, you increase your own power. And by the end of it, you are literally a god in your own right. Your own spirit is becomes very powerful in your own right. And I can attest to this. It's very true. And I just finished my final initiations through the Clipathic, and I'm actually starting new initiations from the back side of the Clipathic, but I'm not going to go into that in this video. That'll be for later down the road. But yeah, so pretty much with that being said, it is, the Kabbalah itself is the major form of magic that is used in all different other types of occult orders. So you have the Golden Dawn, you have the Knights Templars, you have the OTO, you have the Freemasons. They're all using the system of Kabbalah. So this is one of the other reasons why I think it's so important to utilize this system to your benefit, because if all these other orders that have a huge influence in the occult realm are using the system of Kabbalah, then it would only make sense to tap into that system as well so that you can understand what rituals are being done around you and you can understand what you're working with. And it's already like, for every order that works with Kabbalah, for every magician that works with Kabbalah, it only becomes stronger. So the reality is the system of Kabbalah, when it comes to all the different spheres on the tree of life and the tree of death, this system is extremely potent. So what happens is, like, let's say I go to initiate through the tree, and I'll go into a little bit of explaining how to initiate yourself into this tree. But let's say you go, like I go through my beginning initiation, where I'm trying to open up the spheres so that I can work with them. Well, it's such a powerful and tangible system that when I go through my initiation for whatever sphere I'm going through, if someone else did an initiation through that same sphere that I initiated through, so let's say, for example, you did an initiation to work through the sphere of Yesod, and I did the same thing, or the sphere of Gamaliel, and I did the same thing, you did the same thing, we are going to have a very similar type of energetic experience. Although it is going to be uniquely accustomed to you and your own experience, we are all, as I just said, we're going to have a very similar energetic experience. And one of the reasons why I know this is because, as I said, I've traveled through the tree. There's been people that have been working with me going through their initiations, and I'm the farthest ahead of them, so I've seen them go through exactly what I've gone through. And then there's people that I've introduced to the tree that started their own initiations that were way behind me, that started when I was already almost done with it, and they're going through the same exact things that I went through, energetically speaking. So long story short, the point I'm trying to create here is it is a very powerful system. Now, once again, as I said in my other videos, a lot of people are drawn towards the Golden Dawn, they're drawn towards the OTO, they're drawn towards the Knights Templars, the Freemasons. They think that these orders are so sacred and so powerful. And yes, they did have a lot of knowledge, they did have a lot of truths that they did bring to the surface, but the reality is that they were working with the wrong Kabbalah. And what I mean by that is they weren't working with the proper tree of life, because the pillars on their tree, and I've mentioned this in other videos, definitely go and check that out, the pillars on their tree were inverted. And the reason why they were working with the inverted tree is because they were given that information at some point going down the line. Someone gave them the inverted pillars and said, this is the real ancient knowledge. When you do your magic, work with the pillars like this. So a long time ago, there was some skewed information that was given to one of these orders, and then all these other orders formed around that one, and they're all using the wrong tree, which is the inverted pillar. So a lot of their magic actually ended up reversing on them, and they didn't get as far as they could have. But now we're in the age of 2021, and there's people that are starting to recognize that, and there's people that are being a little bit more intuitive with their practices, and they're setting up their own rituals, and they're also listening to their spirits in regards to, okay, should I perform this person's ritual, or should I do it the way my spirit's telling me to do it right now? Okay, and that if your spirit's telling you something different, you should always follow your spirit, because your spirit is your own, you could say, quote unquote, higher self. It's your own daemon, your own divine intelligence. It's your own, quote unquote, holy guardian angel. It is the thing that's in you, that's unique to you, that is the highest aspect of yourself, that contains all of your power. It's what's inhabiting your physical body right now. And you have your own spirit, and that spirit that you have is also connected to source. Okay, source is evolution. So it's very powerful and important to recognize that within yourself. Okay, so yeah, so with that being said, the system of Kabbalah, if you work with it intuitively and you work with it the proper way, for example, I can give you advice on how to work with the tree and not fuck yourself over. There's, I can point you in the right direction in regards to, like, read this book, study this person's website, whatever it may be. I know people that work with the tree and are working with the proper tree. Okay, and once again, most people that get into the occult field, they come in working with these occult, or they come in copying these occult orders. As I mentioned, the Golden Dawn, the OTO, the Knights Templars, they're copying all their rituals because they're buying the books from these orders, and they're thinking that they're thinking that these rituals that they're performing from these orders are going to be effective, when in reality they're not, and they're going to screw you over. So you want to get in touch with a real occultist who's gone through initiation and did it the proper way. You know, that was a different age when it comes to Aleister Crowley, when it comes to Kenneth Grant, when it comes to a lot of the heads of these different orders. Their lives didn't really pan out the way that it should have if they were real powerful magicians in regards to what they said they were. And I mean, you can do your own research. You can study a lot of the heads of these orders. A lot of them died depressed. A lot of them were suicidal. A lot of them lost a lot. They lost all their money. Like, there's a lot of stuff, and it's all because they're working with the wrong system that was provided to them way back in the day by people who understood that. Inner Jewish people that have the Jewish bloodline. And I know this because I have Jewish in my blood. I come from that heritage. It's just a fact, you know? And the reason why they gave them the wrong information is because they want to feed on them. And when you can lower someone's, you could say, vibration or energy, they're a lot easier to control and a lot easier to feed off of them. And if you're trying to control a society, then that's exactly what you want to do. You want to give powerful people the wrong information so that they spread it to the masses, and then the masses thinks, oh, let's hop on board, let's do that, and then everyone pretty much self-destructs. But as I said, we are now in a different age where people are a lot more powerful, and we're able to listen to our spirit and trust our spirit a lot more, you could say, effectively. And we've gone through the system of initiation and followed our spirit throughout the initiations. We didn't just follow these other people's ritual, and we weren't just told what to believe and what to expect, and that had to be 100% correct. We did our own trial and errors. We worked, as I said, with our own spirit, and that led us into the exact avenues that we needed to go to get 100% result through our initiations, okay? So yeah, so with that being said, I just want to create a little context there, but also, you know, Kabbalah is so powerful because, you know, you have all the different pathways, right? That goes from every sphere. You know, there's 10 spheres on the tree. There's 10 spheres on the top, 10 on the bottom. Then there's that hidden sphere, which is known as Daath, which is D-A-A-T-H, which is the hidden sphere of death. And that would be the 11th sphere, okay? The hidden 11th sphere. So that the number 11 is attributed to Daath. And Daath is represented by death. Okay, Daath is the secret principle behind 100% manifestation, which is death. Okay, death energy produces reality, 100% reality, not just reality, but 100%. That's why you see in different orders or different cultures, they would do real sacrifice, whether that's animal or human. They would do sacrifice because they're trying to create the zero. They're trying to create the 11, okay, the zero. And now, you know, we're in a different time, we're in a different age where we can create that zero energy in a different way. You don't have to go walking around sacrificing animals all the time. You don't have to go around sacrificing human beings, right? That's definitely something you don't want to do in this society. That would be totally not smart, and I would not recommend that by any means. But there are people, I know people that do sacrifice animals. You know, they have their own like chicken coops and they sacrifice chickens and things in that nature. But the reality is you can sacrifice things on yourself, okay? You can sacrifice aspects of yourself that no longer serve you. It's an energetic exchange that's taking place, and all you need to do is create the zero, which is the 11, which is a gateway. You have 1, 1, in between is the zero, which is the gateway, to create 100% manifestation. And I'm not saying, like, when you get into the occult and you get in deep, there are sacrifices that take place, and they happen energetically. You're not physically going out harming people, but they happen energetically. If you pick up on what I'm trying to put down here, and it is a fact. It is a part of the path. So, you know, it's not a path that's for everybody. You know, it's not. It takes a certain type of person that has a certain level of potential to them that's going to be successful on this path. You know, this is not for the people that are just dabbling, okay? But this is Kabbalah, okay? Kabbalah is a part of our DNA, okay? This is the interesting part that I want to add into this. Like, Kabbalah is a part of our DNA. So if you look at the tree of life and you have all the different spheres, actually, let me grab it real quick. I got my thing right now. So we have the tree right here. And as I said, this is the wrong version. So this is the dark pillar, this is the white pillar. It really should be inverted. So this should be over here, this should be over here. Because right now, this would be working with the back of the tree. So this would be working with the tunnels of Set. I have videos on that. The tunnels of Set are basically the tunnels in the demonic realm. And there's a lot of spirits in there that feed off your energy. And if you're trying to work with the front of the tree, and you don't know that you're working with the tunnels of Set, then you're just going to get fed on, and you're going to suffer, and they're going to take your energy, and you're not going to get what you want out of it. But you can work with it consciously and get yourself into the tunnels of Set, which comes from initiation into the Clipathic, which puts you from universe A into universe B, and then you can work with the tunnels of Set properly and gain value from them and gain energetic power from going through the tunnels, things of that nature. But as I was saying, this is a symbol of DNA, is it not? This looks literally like a DNA strand, and it's like that for a reason. The Kabbalah is from, it tells you where we come from in regards to spirit. So it shows like we come from, literally it shows us on Kabbalah, we come from dark matter energy. It's the three negative veils of existence. There's Ein Sof, and Ein Sofer, and that's where spirit literally comes from. Beyond that, there's a lot of exploring to do. We don't need to go into that yet. Okay, we need to understand how our spirit came down to physical earth and why we're here. So it shows that we came from those negative veils of existence, then we come into the first sphere, which is known as Kether or Thamael, depending on which side you're working with, and that sphere represents crown or twin god or twin serpent, dual-headed serpent. And then from there it goes into the next sphere, so you have those three, which are formless. And then as you go from that third sphere down to the fourth, now form starts taking place. So basically what I'm trying to share here is that it goes from spirit coming all the way down into form. And then the bottom sphere is known as Mount Cooth, or Nama, and it stands for the physical plane. Okay, it stands for physical earth, physical reality. Now, some of you might be wondering right now, like, okay, like I hear you bring up the Sephiroth and the Clipathic, the top and the bottom, the life and the death. Okay, I hear you bring this up. So what does that mean, Jer? Like, what does it mean? Like, if I initiate into the top of the tree, does that mean that, I can't work with the bottom of the tree, or how does that work? Now, as I said, the tree of life runs through our veins, okay? It is in our DNA, okay? So spiritual evolution, there really is a path and there is a science to spiritual evolution, and it is literally running through all of our veins right now. So we all resonate with this on a very unconscious and subconscious level. Now, naturally, if you are unstudied in regards to Kabbalah, and you don't have this occult knowledge, but you are a person that tends to be like a go-getter, or someone that's warrior spirited, someone that goes out and achieves the things that they know they want and can achieve and are here to achieve, you will naturally initiate yourself through the tree of life. Okay, you will naturally find yourself going through different spheres of initiation, even if you don't have the knowledge of it. So you will be located at some point on that tree of life, okay? And that's a fact. And this is, once again, it's in our human blood. So for example, when I did my initiations through the tree of life, I went all the way up to the sphere of death, which is the hidden sphere, and that became my gateway to enter into the Clipathic, okay? And I was unaware of my initiation. I was unaware of the tree of life. I didn't even know about the Sephiroth. But as I said, during the time, I remember the time, now I'm very aware, now I have the knowledge, but I remember back in the day when I was going to school, there was a point in my life where I left my hometown and I started going to personal training school. And as I was in school, I started saying that this is an initiation. And I didn't even know why I was saying that. It just was in my spirit. I was literally, like, I had a friend there and he was going through a hard time. I said, bro, this is an initiation. We have to go through this. Like, you can't quit, because you wanted to quit. And we went to the very end. And it was an initiation. And I knew nothing about Kabbalah. I knew nothing about the tree of life, nothing about the tree of death. And then shortly after after I finished school and I finished that initiation, which was me traveling the top of the tree, which was the Sephiroth, I had gotten all the way up to the hidden sphere. So I was at the point where I was at the abyss. I was in the abyss aspect of the front side of the tree. And there's the hidden sphere DAC is a gateway to the other side of the tree. Okay, so that was an opportunity, and right around the time when I got to that sphere, this is right around the time when I came across the knowledge of demonic workings in regards to invocation and evocation. So I started doing invocations of a demonic king named Balaam, and that very quickly led me to Lucifer. So I started working with Lucifer. I started doing invocations of Lucifer, and that became my primary focus. And I did this for a while, like a month or 2 months. And I was just pretty much telling Lucifer, like, this is what I'm trying to achieve. This is what I want to do. Guide me in the direction that I need to go in order to have an understanding of evolution. I literally said that, like, give me a full, clear understanding of evolution and how to increase my power and things of that nature. And then shortly after, I moved to Miami, and sure enough, I come across some information. Specifically, there's a guy, another occultist on YouTube named BK Johannem, but his channel's name is Vidian, and he has a WordPress, a very well-known WordPress in regards to the field of the occult, which I highly recommend you check out. I believe it's called vkjohannemswordpress.com or something like that. But I mean, it's a very good WordPress, and he had a free Clipathic Initiation section that gives you the literal rights to perform in order to initiate yourself into the Cliphoth. And I came across the information. I didn't know what the Cliphoth really even was. I didn't know what I was going to get myself into, and I was just winging it. I knew I needed to do it, but I didn't know why, but I ended up doing it. And I'm thinking egotistically, like, oh, I'm going to knock this out in like a month, 2 months, and I'm going to gain all this power and all this stuff. So I ended up performing the initiations. I did it on my own time. I created my own sigils for the spheres, for the spirits in regards to the spheres. I spilt blood on the sigils. I burnt them, and I initiated 3 spheres every day for 3 days, except for the last day I did 4, because it was 3, 6, and then the 4 to make all 10. So what I did is I initiated all 10 spheres in a matter of 3 days. And typically when you go through these initiations, you want to do 1 sphere at a time. Give it a month, because these spheres, especially with the Cliphoth, are intense. They are no joke. They are some of the most powerful forms of alchemical evolution to trigger onto yourself. And had I known what I was going to be going into, I would have taken my time with it. But my spirit told me, initiate all of them. So I listened to that, and I'm very glad I did. I went through it very quickly in regards to some people, but I went through it very profoundly at the same time. So I finished my full initiation after 2 years from that day. I thought I was going to be able to finish in 2 months. That was my ego speaking. 2 years later, me coming to you now, I'm a completely different person. My power is through the roof. I can cause change that most people can't even comprehend, and it's only increasing. And now I found myself in a different form of initiation that is adding things to my physical reality. So the beginning of your initiations in regards to the Sephiroth and the Cliphoth, first the Sephiroth is going to show you, it's going to develop powers within you. So the Tree of Life is going to develop your awareness of your own power. It's going to show you that every sphere that you move through is going to give you something new to add to yourself. It's going to make you feel accomplished for everyone that you overcome. And it can empower your ego, okay? It can, which is not a bad thing, but you want to make sure your ego is in balance. When you go through the Cliphoth, everything is getting removed from you. So you're getting things taken away from you for every sphere you go through until you get to the abyss on the bottom of the tree, and then you're completely naked. You have nothing. You're like stripped to nothingness, and then you can cross up into Thamiel, which is pretty much the realm of, you could say, dragon energies. It's where the void is. It's where the dark matter energy, the negative veils of existence are, and you get filled with that energy, and that permanently changes your energetic body so that you become an infinite source of light, where you can literally, from a black hole, if you know the science of black holes, they have so much dark matter energy that they eventually collapse on themselves and then create an infinite generator, or you could say source of light. But you can only do that if you condense enough dark matter energy together until it collapses on itself. So the entire process of walking through the Clipathic, you're gathering all that dark matter energy and it's removing things from you. So you're gonna lose friendships, you're gonna lose things about yourself that are not good for you. And when I say you're gonna lose friendships that are not serving you, everything that you lose is gonna be in your best interest, but it's gonna be tough to lose it because your ego wants it, right? The self-importance aspect of you is like, I want this. Like, no, don't take that from me. You're gonna lose those things. And that's part of the sacrifice to move from one sphere to another sphere, to another sphere, to another sphere. And you do this all the way through, once again, until you cross the abyss. Then you access the higher power zones, and you become a completely different person in regards to your personality, your spirit. You become very aware of your own spirit, I should say, where you literally can see an image of your own higher self, or your own daemon is what I like to call it, where you can literally travel instantaneously on the astral plane using your daemon, and you are extremely powerful, meaning you can use your daemon to visualize things and they will manifest very quickly. Your subconscious reality will start to align to you, meaning things will just happen to work out for you. You tend to be a lot more lucky. Things always give you the good end of the stick. This all comes from Clipathic Initiation. But remember, it's not an easy initiation. It's very tough. And a lot of people try to initiate through it because they hear what I'm saying and they don't make it through, because it literally will destroy you. It will take aspects away from you, and it will make you essentially like an undead. Like you will get down to the point of nothingness where you literally merge with death energy itself. Okay, you merge with death energy itself, and you also create a link with evolution, which is a link with source. So then as you start to rise back and things start to channel back into the physical plane, being Cooth, or we'll say being Cooth, that's when it's like you're rebuilding yourself based on this new energetic structure that you've created. So as all that energy channels back, so in regards to here, this is Cooth, you travel up, boom, 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 you get to the top, the energy travels back down, and now you exist back in Cooth, and all that stuff that you've gained astrally and on your journey, your spiritual experience channels back down into the physical plane. So that's where you start to build your reality. And the same thing happens for the tree of death. You travel downwards, you get to here, then everything will channel back to the middle again, which is the mix between Cooth and Nama, right in the middle of those two. And it all channels back. So all that traveling, all that suffering, all that pain that you went through, really played a very important role in recreating your spiritual structure, your energetic body. And then once again, all that energy that you've produced and all those things that you've accomplished on the astral plane then begin to take physical form in materialization when you finish your initiation, and then you're in the center again. So I just thought I would share that. Now, in regards to the Sephiroth and the Clipathic is going to be the darker aspect of the Sephiroth. I mean, they're really the same. Like, it's two different polarities of this evolutionary process. So basically, the Clipathic is the more ancient aspect of the Sephiroth. Okay, so the Sephiroth is the light aspect. Okay, it's the light side of the tree. It's the things that you want. It's very important. It's light. Okay, you can think of it as addition. The Clipathic, as I said, is the dark side. It's the dark matter side. It's the subtraction. Okay, so as we can tell from Kabbalah, and I've resonated with this for years, but I finally understood it by studying Kabbalah. Everything comes from the 3 negative veils of existence. So you have the 3 negative veils, and then beyond that, and everything comes through the 3 negative veils and then shoots into the tree of life. So everything truly does come from dark matter energy. So with that being said, we can understand that the tree of life is built from the tree of death. So basically what that means is the roots had to come before there was light. The roots of the tree had to be there before the tree could sprout upwards, before it could bear fruits and look nice. Okay, and for anyone that knows and studies about how plants work and how trees work and things like that, the roots underneath the tree or the plant are usually, I believe it's like 3 times bigger or 2 times bigger than the tree or the plant itself underneath. Okay, so with that being said, everything does come from dark matter energy. So the most powerful form of initiation is going to be going through the Clipathic, and that is going to give you the power that you're looking for. Once again, the Sephiroth is in our blood. Okay, it is you're naturally going to go through it. Okay, only if you're the kind of person that you know, has that warrior spirit. Only if you're somebody that strives for what they want and what they came here to get. Many people, the masses in our society, are stuck somewhere in the, you could call it the middle place, which is pretty much a realm where people's energy is being harvested. It's like a realm where you're not even initiating. You're not going up, you're not going down, you're just stuck in the middle place. And you get your energy harvested off of you by alien entities and things like that. Most people are stuck in the middle place. If we're going to be talking about movies that symbolize that, we have Lord of the Rings, which is their symbolism of the middle place is Middle Earth. Okay, they call it Middle Earth. Okay. Now, that's where most people are. Then there's some people that try to get into the occult. This usually attributes to all the light workers and the tree huggers, the new agers that think they know what they're talking about, but they really have no idea. The ones that are only about love and light, and if you say something about death or you know, like killing an animal or anything negative, they're like, no, shut up. We don't want to talk about that. We don't do that. We're light workers, yada, yada. These people, their souls oftentimes, most of the times, are getting shelled in the Clipathic. So as they're being these light workers and they're trying to spread the light, they're really just feeding chaos, because that's not real evolution. Light, remember, light came after darkness. So they're trying to spread something that's false. It's not true. They're trying to spread light is the answer. It's the way. It's the blah, blah, blah. No, it's understanding darkness. That's the answer. That's the way. Because from darkness, then you can build light. From darkness, then you can have light. But if you're going the other way around, you're inverted. Okay, it's inverted. And that's why we see the Kabbalah pillars inverted. Okay, so what happens to them is their souls get shelled in the Clipathic. And if you're interested in watching my video, I have a video on my YouTube channel where I break down the Clipathic and the Sephiroth. I highly recommend you watch the part 2 if you want to see what that looks like, getting your soul shelled in the Clipathic. But a quick example is the movie The Matrix, where Neo took the red pill, woke up, had the Kundalini awakening, that silver thing ran through his body, shot through his head, and then he wakes up inside that shell. Okay, for those of you that seen the movie, he wakes up in a shell, and then he breaks out, and all that fluid comes out. The fluid is the soul fluid. Okay, so it's very similar to what's going on the astral plane. That's why they made the movie like that. So most people are shelled that are into light working and trying to get into spiritual works, and new agers and tree huggers that don't embrace the dark side of reality, which is Universe B. The demonic side of reality is feminine, and it's called Universe B. Then you have the masculine side, which is more objective, which is called Universe A, where you follow patterns. So if you're only existing in Universe A, following all these patterns, not listening to your own spirit, being too masculine about it, like, hey, this is the answer, light's the answer, watch what you say, you have to say it this way, you have to say it this way, or else this. If you're not embracing the dark side of reality, the Universe B, then you're gonna get, you can get shelled in the Clipathic. Okay, so when Neo had the option to take the red pill or the blue pill, the red pill was Universe B and the blue pill was the Universe A. So he chose universe B, and now he woke up in the Clipathic and was able to break out of his shell, and his soul fluid was released. So now he's able to start working towards his purpose. Because soul fluid is literally your purpose energy. It's like, why are you here? There's a certain energy that's behind the reason why you're here that's supposed to get you to keep moving forward on that path and on that direction. That is your soul fluid. So if your soul fluid shelled, then that means your awareness towards what you're here to do is blocked off, and you don't have the right awareness. So you're probably putting your energy into a corporation or into something that is not structured by yourself, something that is just like empowering somebody else, probably empowering some elites that are out there that have their hand over maybe the corporation that you're working for or whatever. It usually traces back to some form of elite person or people. So we see a lot of that in our society, but this is just what's going on. So as I said, the Clipathic is the number one route to really walk in regards to initiation and gaining power. But once again, if you work through the tree of life, which once again, you can subconsciously, unconsciously, you have a warrior spirit, you will travel that system. You can do it consciously, but if you do it consciously, what I would highly recommend before you get into that is study about the Clipathic first, okay? And not only study about the Clipathic, but set a plan so that when you finish your Sephirothic initiations, that you go and immediately initiate into the Clipathic, because the Sephiroth, all that should really do is prepare you to then begin your Clipathic initiations. That's all it should really be for. You shouldn't just initiate through the Sephiroth and then not ever initiate through the Clipathic, because you won't be balanced. And the Sephiroth is a great avenue to prepare you to initiate into the Clipathic. Okay, now if you're going to be doing Clipathic initiations and you haven't even really done the Sephirothic initiations, you can still do that. Okay, that can be very powerful. You're still going to get crazy results. I mean, you're gonna evolve as a person, but it may be harder for you to work through because you didn't have the preparation beforehand, learning about your own power, which the Sephiroth can offer you. But once again, I mean, there are tons of people that don't do the Sephirothic initiation and end up doing the Clipathic and they make it through. Once again, for me, I had no knowledge of the Sephiroth. All I knew was that I was initiating through something, and then I came across the knowledge of the Clipathic, then I consciously initiated into that. And then at the end of my initiations, I have now all this knowledge about Kabbalah, and I look back on my path, in my past, and I'm like, wow, you know what? I was initiating through the Sephiroth, and I didn't even recognize it because I was that kind of person. I was warrior spirited. I've always been. Like my shirt says, it says, "Run fast, live fearless." Like I carry that spirit with me. And I never went back to initiate into the Sephiroth because I already went as far as I needed to go. The Clipathic gives you a balanced perspective as well. As you initiate, this is one thing a lot of people don't know, as you initiate through the Clipathic, you're also activating the Sephiroth as well. You're activating the higher power zones. Once again, based on the principle that light comes from darkness. Okay, because if you're working with the darker side of evolution, you're also going to open up the lighter aspect as well. So, for example, when you work with that first sphere of the Clipathic, Nama, which is directly connected to Mount Cooth on the Sephiroth, you're also opening Mount Cooth. Okay, but if you're working with Mount Cooth from the Sephiroth, and you're not working with the Clipathic, you're not opening the realm of Nama. You're not opening it. So you're only going to be working with Mount Cooth, okay? And remember, the people that travel through the bottom of the tree, they're the ones with the real power, okay? They're the ones with all the knowledge. They're the ones that control reality, things in that nature. So that's pretty much the difference between the top and the bottom, okay? The bottom will get you to the top. It simultaneously is activating the top spheres. The top doesn't open the bottom. It comes back to the same principle as Universe A and Universe B, okay? Universe B can exist in the dark matter realms and gain power. And literally, everything that would quote unquote be bad or dark or evil gets turned to something beneficial. Universe A has the exact opposite effect. Universe A can only deal with essentially patterns. It can only deal with what you've been told and how you follow orders or how you follow directions, and being, you could almost say, like, logical about everything, analytical. So you can imagine it's really hard to exist in Universe A and work with demonic spirits. You can't do it. Okay, the spirits will harm you. They'll attack you to try and pull you into Universe B, and if you're resisting it, then you're just gonna suffer. You're gonna suffer, and things in that nature. Okay, so yeah, so I think I covered enough. This video is long enough. I don't want to go too long. My battery's gonna die soon anyways, and I will definitely do another discussion on this. I want to see how, you know, people react to this video, see if, you know, if this offered anyone value. If it did, please go in the comments below and let me know, because I will make other videos where I just openly talk about the Kabbalah and what I know about it, because once again, I'm very knowledgeable about Kabbalah, and I love talking about it, to be honest. So I definitely will be doing it in the future. Please leave your comments below. Let's see what you think as well. So definitely make sure you go to my description and you check out my Patreon. On my Patreon, I have exclusive content. Some of that content is going to be geared towards actual spiritual occult practices that I perform on camera, and I teach you how to perform them yourself so that you get 100% success rate. Okay, so basically what I do is, one of the videos that I have on there is how to do an invocation. And what I do on that video is I perform an invocation myself, and I teach you how to do it at the same time, once again, so that you get 100% results. I mean, that's like pretty much the best way to learn something. I perform it on camera and then teach you how to do it. Okay, so what invocation means is that means pulling an external spirit, an energetic intelligence, into your own body using symbolism and using mantra, and pretty much taking the power of that spirit and integrating it into your own energy field, your own spirit. Now what that does is that increases your occult power, that increases your psychic abilities, and that increases your psychic protection. Okay, so a very powerful thing to do. So I have videos like that on my Patreon, and then the other bit of the videos are going to be geared towards what I like to call educational entertainment, which is a video that's very similar to this. The video is entertaining, but you're also getting a lot of value from it at the same time. You could just put your headphones on, go for a walk, go about your day, ride in your car. You're getting a lot of value from it, okay? And that's really good for your spirit, to take in content like that. And then I also have videos on there that go into depth with Kabbalah. So if anyone is interested in learning more about Kabbalah, definitely make sure you go and you check that out, okay? Definitely make sure you check out my Patreon. I break down all of the spheres. Currently I'm working on the Clipathic. I literally have 4 more spheres to cover, but I covered the entire Sephiroth as of right now. And as I said, the Clipathic is almost finished. I go into depth about what I know about the spheres, all the symbolism, all the interpretations of the spheres, and then I give my own experience when I initiated through them and what kind of like challenges I experienced, and you know what came my way, and I just share that that information with you, which is very powerful if you want to have an understanding of what these initiations are like and what they're all about. Okay, so that's going to be in the Patreon link. And I would love, okay, so there's 4 tiers altogether. Okay, so in order to gain access to all this content, you have to at least be a tier 2 member or up. In order to be a tier 2, it costs $9.95 a month, and that literally will come out to less than $1 a day if you do the math. So there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to afford that with the value that I have on there. Okay, as you go up in tiers, the benefits increase as well. So with that being said, I would love to give a special shout out to my top tier members already. I highly appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen, and their names are going to be mentioned right below that Patreon link right there. So huge shout out to you, ladies and gentlemen. And then also huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. I appreciate you all, and then huge shout out to everyone who's, you know, follows my channel and learns from my channel. So huge shout out to everybody. So that's going to be in the Patreon link. Now, go to the second link. The second link is going to take you to where you can book a session if you want to get a tarot card reading from me. So if you know about Kabbalah, you know that all the different paths on the tree are connected to major arcana with the tarot. So as I've been going through my initiations, I've had a tarot deck with me the entire time that I've been able to figure out where I'm at, and I've been able to pretty much read myself, you know, do readings for myself and do readings for other situations. But during the time it was all for me. But now what I'm making available is the opportunity for people to get readings from me. So basically you'll go to that second link and you'll see you can book an appointment to set up a reading. It'll be $40 for one reading. And basically what I do is I do a present, near future and long-term future reading, all based around a main question that you have that I will be addressing. And I'm not your average card reader. I break it down as deep as I possibly can. I'm giving you a very subjective reading, a universe B kind of reading, where I'm not just telling you the traditional aspects of the card, although I will. That's not what I'm going off of. I'm going off of everything I'm seeing on the card, everything my spirit's telling me about the card, and all the symbolism that's on the card. And I break down the zodiacs. If there's a zodiac on it, I break down the Hebrew letter, and I even show you where that's connected in regards to Kabbalah. So for some of you, it's not going to be all, but for some of you, I'm going to literally be able to pinpoint where you are on the tree of life, which I have done before. But I can't guarantee that because not everyone's going to pull a card with a Hebrew letter on it. But that's what I do. I break down the elements. I break down everything, probably a lot deeper than most card readers you know, and I do it in a unique way. So yeah, other than that, that's going to be in the second link. You can book your appointment there. And other than that, that's where I'm going to leave it. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.